Greetings and welcome to another episode of Wild Mouse. I am your host, Taylor Bartle, and today we are going on a magical journey through time as we are heading off to the mythical land of Jurassic Park with my special guest today. He is a writer for Watch Mojo. He is also the host of the Underrated Movie Podcast. Welcome to the show, Derick McDuff.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here talking about this ride with you.
Yeah, I reached out on Reddit for looking for guests, and you, I think, were one of the first to respond. And you gave me a list, and this was the only one from Universal that I've ridden in the past decade, probably longer, because the only time I've been to Universal fairly recently was for Halloween Horror Nights, and this was one of the only rides that was actually running.
Right, yeah. This is, I actually had a similar experience where I went back recently this last year, but before that, I went for Horror Nights, and I was like, I gotta go on Jurassic World, because that was the first time I'd been on it since it'd been Jurassic World. But yeah, so I had not had a lot of experience with Universal other than this until recently. Yeah,
I do remember going on it back when it was Jurassic Park, and we will talk a little bit about it as in its Jurassic Park the Ride form. Which, it's interesting that this ride started being developed in 1990, which was 3 years before the movie came out.
Yeah.
It was designed by Landmark Entertainment Group and actually had input from Steven Spielberg, even though, like I said, the movie hadn't come out yet, but they had already optioned it. But the primary designer, Neil Engel, was basically just given a copy of Michael Crichton's book and been like, find something in here that we can use. And there's a scene of the novel that's actually not from the movie that has a character on a river raft fleeing from a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And so he was like, light bulb, let's do a water ride. And so, yeah, they started developing the ride in 1990, before the film even began shooting. And then in 1992 was the first time that really publicly they kind of were like, hey, secret's out, we're building a Jurassic Park ride. But it was kind of contingent on the film doing well. And of course, since we're in the future, we all know that the movie did incredibly well.
Yes. By a country mile.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact box office is, but I know that it, obviously it spawned 87 sequels at this point, so...
I think it was for a while till Titanic beat it, the number one movie of all time in terms of box office.
That sounds right. I feel like I remember hearing that now that you say that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's domestic or worldwide, but yeah, it had the title for a minute.
So it did okay.
Yeah, one could say.
Well enough to obviously make this ride a reality. And so groundbreaking took place on January 1st, 1995. The ride was originally budgeted for $67 million, but ultimately cost $110 million to build. So they almost doubled the budget. They also spent more on this ride than they did on the film.
Right, which is incredible because that film is like so groundbreaking in so many ways. And yeah. And so is this ride, though.
That's true, yeah. I remember seeing Jurassic Park when I was 10 years old. And it scared the crap out of me.
I mean, those raptors, pretty scary, man.
Well, yeah, the night that I saw it, it was pouring down rain. And so, of course, I remember sitting in my bed and just imagining, if I open my drapes right now, there's going to be a giant Tyrannosaurus eyeball right there.
Right. Just waiting for, the lamb to, land on your window or whatever.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't have a glass of water on my bedside table or it would be shaking. But yeah, this was the most expensive theme park built to date, beating out Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of the Forbidden Eye at Disneyland, which of course is a massive scale ride on its own. And so there was a pterosaur aviary planned as part of the ride, but that was ultimately scrapped due to budget constraints. Now they have budget constraints.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to mess up a lot of these dinosaur names. I'm not very good with dinosaur names. There's a lot of consonants in a row. So
all of my dinosaur name knowledge comes from watching Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park films. So,
all right. So, I mean, as we know, the film used a mix of animatronics and CGI dinosaurs. But obviously, in 1993, having CGI dinosaurs on a ride was not going to be feasible. So they still wanted the most realistic dinosaurs possible. So they hired Sarcos, who I'm not sure. I mean, I know they're a robotic company, but I don't know what they might be well known for.
I think, prior to this, because I did watch some, documentaries and behind the scenes stuff in preparation for this. And as far as I could tell, it sounds like they would work with like amputees and stuff like that, like making, prosthetics. And because they needed something that would hold up for, use for years and years and years for 16 hours a day in the water. And they went to these guys who were at the time making this really groundbreaking stuff for prosthetics. And like, hey, would you be able to make this into, a theme park ride instead of just like, an arm for somebody, make a whole Dilophosaurus? And they were like, yeah, we could do that. So I guess that was the company behind it.
So they weren't even like a Hollywood company.
No, yeah. As far as I know, I think they were just like in the medical field.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they hired the Sarcos company to come in and build some dinosaurs, and some of the dinosaurs alone cost $1 million each.
That checks out. That checks out that T-Rex at the end.
Yeah, which, I mean, jumping ahead a little is my biggest complaint with the whole ride. But, yeah, there is a giant T-Rex at the end that apparently weighs 45 tons.
Wow.
So that's a big-ass dinosaur. There's also a 5-story tall Ultrasaurus, which sounds fake. That doesn't sound like it's a real dinosaur. I honestly, I had to look that up earlier today because I was like, that's not a real dinosaur. There's no way there's an Ultrasaurus.
I think that shows up in the late, one of the later movies, one of the later Jurassic World movies. But I could be wrong. Maybe it's Gigantosaurus. I don't know. They all have very silly names.
Wait, that's a thing? Gigantosaurus?
I think so. It's the one that that the T-Rex fights at the end of Jurassic World Dominion, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's something kind of silly sounding like that. But I'll have to do some quick Googling while you keep talking.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've only seen the first Jurassic World movie. I haven't seen any of the Chris Pratt ones. I guess, was he in the first one?
He's in the first one.
So I
that's
saw that
fair.
One.
The it's kind of, the next two are not good. They're pretty bad.
That's what I've come to understand. So I didn't feel like I was missing much.
Yeah, no, you really weren't, honestly.
What's the newest one? Is that Dominion?
Dominion, yeah, was the one that just came out a couple years ago, and then the one that's coming out this summer is Jurassic World Rebirth, which actually, I'm like, oh, fool me again, because it looks pretty good.
And that's the one that has Sam Neill and all the old people, right?
Dominion they brought everybody back, yeah. And this one, it's a whole new cast. It's got Scarlett Johansson and stuff in it.
Okay, yeah, that does sound familiar. Okay,
and it is the Gigantosaurus that's, I guess, at the end of that movie, which I guess the director said wanted him to be like the Joker. I don't know what that means.
What?
But yeah.
Okay, I mean, that's a choice, I guess.
Yeah.
There's also a 40-foot long Stegosaurus. So those, I mean, we know those were pretty big.
Yeah.
So the creation of the animatronics was obviously one of the biggest challenges in developing the ride, as they wanted them to look lifelike, but also be durable. And any animatronic is not going to be super durable because it is moving so much. There's constant, gear grinding, and plus the exterior skin is out there in the elements, because this is an outdoor ride. It's kind of outdoor, kind of indoor.
Yeah. Mostly outdoor until you get to the end, I guess.
Yeah. Sarcos hired more than a dozen sculptors and mold makers to craft the dinosaurs' exterior appearances, and they brought in actual paleontologists, including Jack Horner and Don Lessem. Now, two things about that. One, the guy's name is Jack Horner, which I'm pretty sure is a nursery rhyme. But I don't know if you watched John Mulaney's talk show on Netflix.
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, he just did an episode about dinosaurs recently.
Okay.
And this Jack Horner guy called in, and they were making fun of him.
He's honestly, I feel like he was this celebrity paleontologist for a while. Because I remember I was, I grew up I was a kid in the 90s, and so I would be I was obsessed with dinosaurs in Jurassic Park particularly. And he was on every single bonus feature of every Jurassic Park thing. They were we
really?
Got Jack Horner. He was the best. To the point where I think in The Lost World, there was a professional rivalry between like Jack Horner and some other paleontologist, where Jack Horner's like, they're birds, and the other guy's like, nah, they're lizards. And like the guy who like he was having the rivalry with is like there's a character in the Lost World based on the rival paleontologist who's like an idiot and gets eaten, I think.
That's hilarious. So yeah, the animatronics were finalized on computer before construction of the animatronics, which in 1993 was kind of a big deal. Like things on computer weren't like they are now, where you just, type into AI, make me a dinosaur animatronic. The ride incorporated the same dinosaur sound effects from the film, which I guess makes sense. Like, why re-record them if you don't have to?
And it lets the sound, but the cool thing is too that while it's the same sound effects, they would pitch them up or pitch them down because, like, as they put it, they were like, they're not doing the same things in the ride that they are in the movie necessarily. So they might have them be in a slightly different scenario where they're making a slightly different noise, but you still want it to be that dinosaur, which I thought was a cool thing.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like if a dinosaur is, running or being active, it's not going to make the same noises if it's just chilling out eating leaves.
Right.
So I don't remember a lot of the Jurassic Park ride because I was a kid when I saw it. But I know now that it's Jurassic World, when you're enter the queue, there's like a video, like an instruction video or a safety video kind of thing that's playing constantly.
Really long, like TV. It's like 3 widescreen TVs glued together, but it's all like one thing. And like Chris Pratt or like, what's her name? Bryce Dallas Howard or like, Henry Wu, like one of the people from the movies are just like, they'll be up there being like, here's the thing about Stegosaurus. And it's like Jurassic TV. And there's like a rotating loop for like, because I remember watching it in line this last time I went, and it is a kind of, it's like, oh, here we're gonna go talk to like this person. Chris Pratt does his kind of like little shtick where it's like, you gotta be careful out there. And then they're like, here's the kids' corner, and we're gonna go learn some fun facts about a Stegosaurus. And they have all these little different bits that they do that run on a loop.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention because when I went, the ride kept breaking down. But like I said, it was the only ride that was open, so it's like, well, I guess we'll just stay in line.
Yeah, there you go.
Because every maze line was, twice as long.
Right, yeah. Because because I remember when and that was one thing I was like, first thing I gotta do go in Jurassic. The mazes are cool. I get there only here for a certain time of the year, but it was my first because like I said, I'd been on Jurassic World Park a bunch of times, so I'd never been on Jurassic World. That was the one thing I had to do, and I was like, you know what? And it's a water ride, so you got to go early too, otherwise you'll be drenched the whole night. Yeah,
and that's what I was. By the time I actually got on and off the ride, I was soaking wet at like 9 o'clock at night.
It's not ideal.
No, definitely not. So the ride opened on June 15th, 1996. It was a star-studded affair. Steven Spielberg was there, among other celebrities. I don't know who the other celebrities are. It just says,
I think Jeff Goldblum
others.
Was there. Because I saw a bit where him and Spielberg liked the ceremonial Jurassic Park torch.
Of course, we all know about this. The ceremonial torch of Jurassic Park. Knows. Do they ever play the song on the ride?
Oh, I think they do. I think when you go through that first gate, because I watched some ride videos in prep for this, and you hear Richard Kiley, who is he's in the movie, like the John Hammond goes, you're hearing the voice of Richard Kiley when they're going on their little tour or whatever, and he's the one who does like the narration on the ride, and I think like right before that first gate opens up, you hear a little bit of the John Williams, what do you call it, motif or leitmotif?
Yeah, the ba 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 da da da. That's about as much as we can legally use. Yeah, also in the original version, the pre-ride video had Richard Attenborough, who plays John Hammond in the film, the bearded guy. The guy, the main guy.
Yeah, he's got hold on, he's got, I don't know this audio medium, but he's got one of these. He's got a.
Oh yeah, you got the amber there.
Yeah, the amber. Yep, exactly.
I saw somebody who did a couple's Halloween costume where one of them was like a chunk of amber and the other one was it was on Abbott Elementary.
Oh, nice.
The one girl was like the amber and the guy was Mr. DNA. That's
actually pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, of course, on the show, nobody got the joke, but I was like, oh, that's pretty good, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So the ride was actually promoted through an online game called Jurassic Park: The Ride Online Adventure, which is a terrible name. And the ride was actually also the sponsor of Jeff Gordon in 1997 at the Winston. Jeff Gordon is a NASCAR racer for people who may not know. But the car was actually banned by NASCAR.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it just says because of its power. I don't know if it had too much horsepower.
Yeah,
or...
too much, like, under that hood, too much dinosaur power.
Yeah. All that T-Rex power. It's not illegal in this day and age. But so in 2018, they announced that the ride, in 2015, they announced that the ride would be rethemed. No, I was right the first time. May 10th, 2018, Universal announced that the ride would be redesigned after the 2015 film, there it is, Jurassic World. So the ride closed on September 3rd, 2018, and reopened on July 12th, 2019. So it was closed for about, 10 months, which when I went was October of 2019. So I didn't realize that it had just opened.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so, yeah, then in 2019, it reopened as Jurassic World, the ride. The biggest difference, well, I guess let's talk about the ride. So, I mean, we're going to be talking mostly about the Jurassic World version. We'll kind of jump back to some of the Jurassic Park stuff, doing a little compare and contrast. But so you get on this boat. First you go through the queue, like we said, you've got the video going, and I think it does also do some of the like ride safety, like, do not stand, do not keep your arms and legs inside the boat, all that kind of everyday stuff. Also, I remember in the queue, they had like noises in the bushes.
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, so you would hear like something scurry real quick across the bushes. And I don't remember if the bushes moved or not, but I do definitely remember hearing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good touch. I love that kind of ambiance. It's like not something you would notice unless you notice it.
Right, yeah.
But so you climb into this boat. The boats hold 25 people, which is a pretty big ride vehicle.
Yeah.
And you immediately start going up. It's a, old school chain climb. And when you get to the top, it kind of crests, and you go around this corner, and there's a big giant fossil there, and it says, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth," in that trademark Jurassic Park font. And so, initially it feels very kind of calming, and it's like, oh, this is a scientific, like almost like a field trip kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's these big, heavy doors, and you go through those, and this is where I think the biggest change from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World is.
Yeah.
Because this is all screens through here. And this is where, what is this dinosaur called?
The Mosasaur, or the Mosasaurus.
Yeah. This is where he is, and you see him, like, he's giant.
Mm.
And he's eating sharks whole. That's how big he is. But he, like, starts banging on the glass, and I remember water shooting out.
Yeah, there is. The water comes out, like, well, it's, yeah, because, like, he's, like, will swim up and around you and stuff, and the water comes over the top, and then I don't know how they do it, but, like, he hits the glass, which is obviously just, like, an LED or, like, whatever screen, and it cracks, and somehow they shoot you with water out of it. I don't know how they pull it off, but they did it somehow. It was cool.
Yeah, I remember this is where I got the wettest.
Checks out.
Because it's literally just shooting water at you from above.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this is going to be fun if, like, I'm already soaking wet.
Just, like, for the whole entire ride.
Yeah. And, yeah. Like you said, he hits the screen and it cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah, the water shoots out of the screen, which is a really cool effect, even if it's annoying that you get soaking wet. But... And then you go through this little cave, and there's like these, I guess it's supposed to be like a zoo. There's little signs of what dinosaurs are around. I don't know enough about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's the one with the bill on the back of his head.
Oh, it's like a duck-bill dinosaur. I forget the scientific name for him, but yeah. Well,
yeah, and then the one with like a clubbed tail.
Yeah. Can we back up real fast to the Mosasaur? Because I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. Because, like, as you mentioned, that's like one of the things that is the most changed in the whole ride, because it used to be like this lagoon with, I think the brontosauruses, the big like gigantic, long neck dinosaurs. That's one of the things that was just completely taken out, replaced by screens. And I'm of kind of two minds about it, because I'm like, the mosasaurs are really cool, but I feel like it's very indicative of like having ridden the other rides that I hadn't ridden, since I had been to Universal for the first time in like 10 years after this. Everything is a screen. Like, that's like every ride is like, we go to this room and you look at a screen and then the arm moves you over to another. And so like, that's all Universal does now, is just screens. And
Right.
I feel like I was like, okay, cool. Like, we're on a Universal ride. Of course, there's going to be a screen. The one really new thing they put in is going to be some screen stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you backtracked, because I forgot that the Brontosaurus part was right here and that it was this big open area. Looking at some video from the old Jurassic Park, they definitely weren't great animatronics.
Yeah, these ones I think probably because they're so big and the neck is so long, they're the ones that were like getting the most wear and tear over the because it was open about 20 years almost, 20 years plus, I guess.
25, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's part of the reason why, just to be like, oh, okay, wow, we're starting the ride, here's something new that we haven't seen before for people who've been on a lot, but B, because, hey, we need to replace these ones, of all of them.
Yeah. And, like, the Brontosaurus thing is not as ominous.
Yeah.
I already forgot the name of the water one. The Mosasaurus is, it's already preparing you for danger.
Yeah.
Because you've got this thing banging into the glass and it's cracking the glass. Whereas when you go through the Brontosaurus area, it's still just very calming.
Yeah, it's majestic. It's almost like the first scene in Jurassic Park where they're seeing the big long neck dinosaurs and they're like, well, Sam Neill and all of them are like, wow, this is amazing. That's kind of how it starts. Whereas now it's like, okay, it's preparing you like, okay, you're in the theme park. Maybe everything's not working as well as it should. Maybe some things are going to break out. Something's going to go wrong.
Yeah, and especially with, since it's a new dinosaur and it's like, oh, maybe we don't really understand what this dinosaur is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then these zoo signs or whatever they are, these are new. These weren't there in the original. I guess I don't think these dinosaurs were here in the original. It doesn't look like. Like I said, again, watching an old video, you just kind of go around a cave and there's these geysers going off.
Oh, yeah.
Which, are those still there?
The geysers are still there. Yeah, the geysers still are kind of shooting you with water and stuff like that. Because I think the next part is relatively unchanged, other than some like small spruce ups.
Let's see. Does it say what kind of? So it's a Stegosaurus and a Parasaurolophus.
I got no idea on that one.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the duck-billed one with the thing on the back of his head. That's the best I can describe him. And then the Stegosaurus is like up on top of it's not a cave, but there's a big rock part that juts out, and there's the Stegosaurus is up there. And then there's another Stegosaurus off to the right. Okay, there go the geysers. And it looks like you go right under the geysers too, so that gets you even more wet. Yeah.
This ride does not shy away from getting you, soaked. And this was like the first part of the reason why, other than that it ties into the scenes in that book, the river part, which was cut out of the movie, or not cut out, it was just not in the movie. But they did utilize it in Jurassic Park 3, is because they didn't have a water ride at Universal. They were like, we need to get a water ride in here. And so what better way to do that than Jurassic Park, and to put some geysers in there and, all that good stuff.
This was their first water ride?
Yeah, this is Universal's OG water ride.
Wow, I never realized that. I guess I just kind of assumed there must have been one, but even now, is there another one?
I don't think there is another one, honestly. At least not the one that I can remember from when I went this last time. I didn't ride everything, but it's mostly just screens now. And so I don't think there is one. Yeah, this is kind of like, and it's one of my, I will say, it's one of my favorite water rides ever. Like, it's a really good ride.
It is, yeah. So after these geysers, another one of these Parasaurolophus jumps, like, pops his head out of the water, and so that sprays you again, and then he literally spits at you.
Yeah.
So it's really like they just tried to get you as wet as possible.
Yeah, they were like, no stone unturned, no opportunity to splash you was not realized.
And I mean, in the original Jurassic Park version, that wasn't there, right?
It was.
That specific Dilophosaurus, whatever.
The guy who pops his head out of the water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there in the original Jurassic Park one.
Okay.
But the context is a little bit different. Because this is because that up to here, all the, it's like Herbivore Cove, I think, in both versions, but this is where it starts to change because it does like a fake fork in the road in a second, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. I mean, another thing isn't really important, but another difference between the two is that the initial doors in the Jurassic Park ride were wood, or at least made to look like wood. In this one, they're very kind of industrial steel. But yeah, at this point, we get to... Originally, in the Jurassic Park version, it was Hardosaur Cove.
Mm-hmm.
And we see what looks like another ride vehicle broken down there. And this is kind of where things start to go awry. Right.
Because it's this the conceit at this point in the original Jurassic Park ride is you're meant to go into that cove, but something happened, it broke down, and then you're kind of like being diverted towards like the back lot, and then you see the raptor paddock from the movie and stuff like that. Whereas in Jurassic World, it's like, no, you're always supposed to go the way to the carnivores, and like kind of go through the carnivore thing. So they kind of changed the context a little bit. And I think, is this the point when you see the floating? It's not there anymore, but in Jurassic Park ride, you see the floating Mickey Mouse ears, implying that there is a Disney fan that's been eaten by dinosaurs at this point.
I didn't know that. That's a funny little Easter egg.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things of riding the ride back in the day, but I think they took it out.
Oh, cowards. Yeah, so in the Jurassic World version, you pass it says Gyrosphere Raptor Lookout Point. And similar to Jurassic Park, there's a broken down vehicle, but instead of being the boat that you're in, it's one of these gyrospheres. And it's all broken. And there's two like baby raptors fighting over a hat, I think.
It's like a popcorn thing. So you're right. It is a hat in this. It used to be popcorn in the old one. But yeah, it's like a bucket hat. And I think they're compysaurs is what they are. Like the little guys that eat Peter Stormare in The Lost World.
Yes. And I remember playing... God, I don't remember what video game it was, but I remember playing a video game, and those little fuckers were everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you go around this corner through Predator Cove, and just the Predator Cove sign alone is very ominous. It's all completely scratched up. And this is where you go into the Indominus Rex area. Mm-hmm. Kingdom, I guess it's called.
Right, yeah.
And there's all these alerts going off. There's all these signs with big light up red letters saying, alert, do not enter.
Yeah. Claire, aka Bryce Dallas Howard, like I think shows up on a screen is like, you gotta get out of that boat. They're coming for you, or whatever she says.
And so you go into this. Well, I guess it's Tyrannosaurus. Okay, so this is confusing because there's a big sign that says Indominus Rex, but then as you go around that, it says Tyrannosaurus Rex Kingdom.
Yeah, so I guess that like the idea is that you're seeing, you're going through all the predator stuff. So you're seeing the raptors and the Indominus, and then the Tyrannosaur is going to be like the last thing you go into. But like it's like one of the things is like, okay, poor ride planning probably on their point, putting all these things right next to each other, but still.
Yeah.
But so the part that is the Indominus Rex, which is a made up dinosaur for Jurassic World, like, do you know what that was before in the original Jurassic Park ride?
Well, I mean, I see the sign that says pump station.
So it's at this point in the ride, and it was famously always, I guess, broken down, like especially towards, like it didn't run for like years, but it was this really cool effect where it was the part of the movie when you see the Jeep, and it's one of the actual like ride vehicles from the Jurassic Park movie, not the literal one, but it's the same thing, and it kind of comes down the cliff and it falls and it splashes you, like, so you see like that scene of the movie where like where Sam Neill's like getting out of the way and the T-Rex pushes it over the thing, and it was like a solid concrete wall. You just see it come down, and so when it worked, it was really cool. I remember being young, and seeing that happen, but then it just never worked later on.
That was before the climb?
Yes, that's like directly before the climb. It's like the last thing.
Okay, so it must not have been working when this person took this video, because it's not in there. It does have one of the little like spitter dinosaurs though that pops up and like furls his little.
Yeah, he shows up right there too,
and of course spits water at you.
Right, yeah, the Dilophosaurus.
Everything's got to spit water at you.
Everything's spitting water. Cars are crashing down and throwing water at you. Like anything, it is a lot of water.
Yeah, I mean, on Splash Mountain it says caution, you may get wet, but this one it's like, no, we're gonna make sure you get wet.
Yeah. What ride is it that it's like you may get wet or you will get wet? You may get soaked. I can't remember what ride that is.
I think it's either. I don't remember if that was Splash Mountain or it is Tiana's, but I think it's that ride.
Okay. I always thought that was clever.
Yeah. And, I mean, I just recorded a Tiana's episode that'll be coming out soon, but on our Splash Mountain episode, we talked about it. You get wet. Like, it's...
Yes, you do.
That ride, that sign is accurate. But so in the Jurassic World version, instead of just being this pump station, and instead of having this Dilophosaur pop out, you've got a T-Rex that's bursting through this giant screen.
Mm-hmm.
And the screen is, again, it's very much like a zoo. It's like, here's all the tail of the tape, basically, of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Mm-hmm. And it's like, here's his top speed and his lifespan. And then it's just broken because there's this giant T-Rex. And this animatronic is pretty dang good because it doesn't just stick his head out. Mm-hmm. He like sticks his head out and he looks around, and he kind of backs up and he moves back and forth. It's got some good motion to it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like they... like we said, to this point, it's been mostly the same, but the plus-ups that you're starting to see, other than that first scene, now is to the point where you're really starting to see the plus-ups,
Yeah. Like this climb, in the Jurassic Park version, it was just a climb.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's the lights go out, and you've got Chris Pratt popping up on a screen and warning you. There's all kinds of alerts going off.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is very immersive and kind of, really sets the scene and sets the tone for what this ride is going to be going forward.
Right. And there's raptors. And both of them, but there's raptors popping out. But that's what my favorite part of the whole climb is, that you see like raptors come down. One comes out of the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That feels very like a haunted house kind of ride almost.
Yeah.
Because it's like a jump scare.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And it's very reminiscent of that scene when the kids are getting chased by the raptors through the kitchen, and you see Sam Jackson's arm get like chopped off, or like it's very and Ellie Sattler's being pursued by the dinosaurs, the raptors, while she's like trying to turn the switches back on. It really captures the feeling of the ride or the movie.
Hold on to your butts. And so there's a little splashdown here. In case you don't get wet from the splashdown, there's another Dilophosaur to spit water at you.
Yeah.
And now you're in the T-Rex enclosure. And you see another T-Rex coming up from above, and just the scale of these animatronics is so impressive.
Yeah, I think this point it used to be a T-Rex right there, but now it's the Indominus. They swapped the head out for the new dinosaur.
Okay, because was this the end of the ride before?
No, there's still it's getting towards the end, but it's like the beginning of the final act is the best way to put it, I guess.
Because this video I'm seeing, like, this is where the Tyrannosaurus pops out, and then you go down the final drop.
Yeah, because there's always been the head popping out right there, but they just changed it for like it was a T-Rex and now it's an Indominus. Because I'm like, I watched a few of these ride along videos, just to kind of make sure that like my memory was actually correct, because apparently there's some things I'm misremembering. But yeah, this point there's still, because the track isn't changed at all. It's kind of like Splash Mountain, how all the guts and stuff are different, but the track, the waterway is essentially unchanged.
Right.
But everything around it is. This is the part where I'm like really like they really improved stuff, because in the original, this whole last little stretch in the dark here, it's all like you're in like the steam room and there's like a countdown going like life support is about to give out, like, and it's like there's literally a pipe that says like steam supply that's like shooting steam water at you, and you're like, why is steam here? Like, what is the point? Why do you need steam? But and this one now, it's like like you said, you're in the T-Rex enclosure. There's like like trees and like ancient like plants and stuff around you, and different now the Dilophosaurus is here and he's spitting at you, so it feels a lot more interesting and immersive in the new version.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, so I do see the part where the T-Rex head came down. I just went too far.
Okay.
So yeah, the new Indominus version is much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The T-Rex version, first of all, the new one gets closer to you, which is cool.
Nice.
The previous one was very much like in the ceiling, and this one kind of comes through the ceiling. But the old one also kind of just looks like Roy from the TV show Dinosaurs.
Yeah, okay, fair.
But it's also this video is also like, maybe it doesn't have lights on. I thought it did, but anyway, so you go around a corner. There's more Dilophosaurus who, of course, are going to spit things at you, even if you don't get soaked. They want to make sure you at least get a little wet.
Right, you got to get something. You got to get that Dennis Nedry experience and get spit on by a dinosaur.
There's some raptors kind of going around, and then you go around a corner, and this is where you see the the new Indominus Rex.
Yeah,
and it's shrieking at you, and it's a great effect, a great animatronic. And then the T-Rex comes out, and this is the same T-Rex from before, and like I said earlier, this is my biggest issue with this ride.
Okay.
And my biggest issue is that you can see his feet.
Yeah, that always kind of bugged me. Is that like, what is he standing on? Like, how is he just floating out here, And it was kind of hidden in the old one because he used to come through like essentially a waterfall, but then you would still see his feet. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, the previous one had all the steam going and like you said, a waterfall. So it seemed like they were trying to hide it, but it still looked like you just took like a T-Rex toy, put it on wires, and swung it.
Right.
And so when they made this new ending scene, I was like, oh, sweet. They fixed the T-Rex. They made it so it doesn't look like it's just one big giant thing that doesn't actually move swinging out on wires. And then I was like, oh, nope, it's the same. I feel like they could, put a platform there or something.
Right? Yeah, have him have a reason to be there. So it's interesting because it's everything around the T-Rex has changed, but he's still there, and I get it. That's the big your icon. That's the big centerpiece. That's the thing everybody remembers. You don't want to take that out. But they just changed the context of it. Instead of like now he's coming out to try and chomp you, like you see the Indominus is like looking at you, and then he comes to fight him, and then you that's where you're at. Yeah,
I mean, even they could even just cover the bottom part.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and here's something too that this is when I talked about misremembering things. This is the part that I really misremember, is that, and because I was convinced that after the third Jurassic Park came out, they gave the T-Rex a new paint job and put a big fin on his back to make him seem like a Spinosaurus. And I scrubbed the internet. I could not find anything about this. I think I just like Mandela affected myself. Like, it's like, I'm like, is it like a Hatbox thing? Like they only had like, and one of the videos I looked at like from like right around then, it looked like he did have a new paint job, but there was no sale as far as like, so I was just like, if anybody listening out there has any information about this and like can verify this one way or the other, please let me know. But I was convinced that this was a thing and told people for years that I was like, yeah, they changed it to a Spinosaurus and they changed it back. And apparently that's just my imagination. But
people are going on just being like, man, Derek's full of shit. I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, it's sad because the rest of the ride is all so solid. Like all the animatronics move so well. They all look so good. And then this one, the T-Rex itself looks great. Like that's not the problem. But my problem with it is that you can see his feet and you can see that he's just floating in midair.
It's funny because it never bothered me, I think, when I wrote it. But like watching it this time, on when I was watching all the ride throughs, I really noticed it. And maybe it's like one of those things that plays. So I'm like, does it play a little better when you're immersed in the ride and everything? Because I don't remember it bugging me, but it definitely stuck out a lot rewatching it.
I remember going on it and being like, what is going on?
Okay. Fair.
Because, hey, like I said, it's almost better before. Because it seemed like they were trying to hide it with the steam and the waterfall. And it's like, oh, he's going to come through the waterfall, so you don't really notice. You do still notice. But in this one, it's just, like I said, it's like he just swings out on wires.
Mm-hmm. Like Peter Pan just coming out there.
Yeah. Just doing one of these motions. Yeah, and you like drop under him too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost hard to not notice. At least for me, who's, I'm pedantic, but
yeah, it's almost like the Indiana Jones when you're like going under the boulder. You're like, what is even really happening there? Like if you try to logically think it out, but Indiana Jones works a lot better because it's dark. You can't really tell what's going on. This is just like, what is even happening?
Yeah, and like it's the last thing too. Like it's the one thing you're going to remember because it's the last thing. But yeah, like I said, you drop down, you go under the T-Rex, you take a 28-yard drop. I don't know why it's in yards, but
I guess I heard it was like 83 feet and about 50 degrees is the numbers that I heard thrown out.
Let's see, 28 yards would be, that's almost 90, so would you say 83?
That was 80. The number I heard in one of the making of documentaries. And at the time, I think it's been beaten today by like Perilous Plunge, which is also not around anymore, but like it was the tallest and / steepest water drop, I think.
At Universal or
anywhere?
Really, more than Splash Mountain?
I think so, yeah, because I think Splash Mountain is definitely not as steep. I don't know about it being a tall, but it was definitely steeper.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
In terms
Splash
of degrees.
Mountain feels longer.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think Splash Mountain is like not quite as tall or steep, but you're going for a bit longer, and I think it's a perspective thing too, because it's like you're on a little log and you're just kind of like leaning over, and it's not like a big 25-person boat. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, Splash Mountain, you're right on top of it. Whereas in this, it's such a much bigger vehicle that that's a good point. It could kind of give you a sense of opposite of perspective. I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
But. And then, of course, do this drop and get splashed one last time before you exit. And then, of course, you exit through the gift shop.
Right, yeah. But I do love that drop. And I did just look up, apparently Splash Mountain is 52.5 feet. So it is definitely taller.
Really? That's all?
Yeah. So they like the Elsa Imagineers, they do a really good job with making things look tall or, bigger or whatever. So, and, I guess that it worked for the ride. I think, like you said, it is the perspective thing, especially since I feel like it's kind of enclosed too. Like Splash Mountain's kind of like you're there, whereas like Universal, it's like, like you do go into like the Briar Patch or whatever. Whereas like this, you just kind of go and you land and you see like the entrance to the ride and you splash everybody that's on the side.
Yeah, this one too, when you are waiting to get on, you can stand and watch people go out of come down the hill, and yeah, you'll get splashed if you're sitting out there waiting too. Okay, so I found a video of the falling car. It's not quite as cool of an effect as I thought. Because like the car is on a track. Yeah,
it's a little like, it's the 90s. Like they did what they could.
Yeah, it's a great idea. But yeah, the car is sitting upside down on top of a wall, and then it kind of tips 90 degrees, so it lands on this track and then just goes straight down. So the track kind of takes you out of it because what's going to happen. It's not like, oh no, that car's actually falling. Yeah,
this is before the trackless Rise of the Resistance technology.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be really cool if it was like a trackless technology, if they could pull that off.
Yeah. And I will say, because I watched, like I said, I watched a few of these, and I think that it was one of the things where later in its life, when it was still work, because I watched one from like 97, one from like 2002, 2009, 2018, and then the modern one. And I feel like in the 97 one, so like right after it opens, it's coming down a lot quicker. And that might have been because it was working better, and it might also have been because it was splashing people too much, and it was like I don't know, like, so you can note it's noticeably falling slower in like the 2009 one when it's also working.
Yeah, I mean, in this video, it's not moving particularly fast, and there's not a huge splash. So I don't know if that was like, I don't know what year this video was taken, or if that was just even like, it may have just been a test or something. But yeah, this is a very popular ride. Todd Martins of the LA Times called it an imperfect ride, but the perfect one for where the Jurassic Park franchise has gone.
Okay.
Ouch.
Fair.
That's a shot at the ride and the movies.
Right. You're getting two birds with one stone with that one.
Let's see. He said it packs plenty of tension and scares and wow-inducing special effects into its plus 5 minutes. That's the other thing. This is a pretty long ride.
Yeah.
As far as rides go, it's about 5.5 minutes. But
it
does this at the expense. Yeah, it does this at the expense of a sense of awe, grandeur, and basic grasp of storytelling that the original attraction possessed.
Yeah. I mean, I do think he's, like I said, there's some stuff, particularly like the end, that I think is an improvement. But I think, yeah, the pacing is, as happens so often when you kind of get these refurbishments, the pacing is a little off because you built the track with one thing in mind, and then it's like, oh well, we gotta put in, the whole Indominus at the end. He's got to be there to fight him. So where do we put him in? Put him in at this point, because that's where the falling car that's broken doesn't work anymore. So we need to put something there. So it's more like it's. So I do feel there are pacing issues. I mean, it's still a great ride either way. I probably, though, would go for the original one overall.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree that it doesn't have storytelling, though.
It does. I think the pacing is just a little bit wonky. Yeah,
my biggest problem as far as storytelling would be that they make you think that the Mosasaurus is going to be a much bigger deal than it turns out to be.
You feel like it's gonna. Oh, it's like the glass is cracked, so it's gonna like get out and come at you and stuff. And then it just.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like you think that maybe that last drop is going to be, the Mosasaurus escapes, and then you like the tank explodes and that sends you over or something.
Yeah,
but yeah, after that first initial area, that Mosasaurus never comes back.
Yeah, that was just another example of Universal being like, we have screen technology, it's cheaper, and we have a lot of, because like honestly, I will say I'm going to go on my little mini rant against that real fast, because I hadn't been to Universal other than that Horror Nights in probably 10 or 15 years before going back this year, and so I hadn't gone on like anything since like Transformers, like none of the Harry Potter rides, and did all those. I was like, oh, doing all these cool new rides. They're all to some degree some kind of screen thing. And like right before I left at the end of the day, I was like, well, I remember the Mummy ride being kind of cool, and just being like, I was like, oh, this is a real ride. Like this is like an actual roller coaster in the dark. I don't have a screen of the Mummy like doing anything. It's actually just, here's a roller coaster. And I like screen rides, like Star Tours is great. I do miss one of the OG Universal screen rides, the Back to the Future one. But when you have one trick and you just keep using it over and over again, it does feel it gets a little old.
Well, like you said, they're cheaper and they're more compact, so you can put more of them into an area. And if they want to refurbish it, all they got to do is just write a new program,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I liked it a lot better than the Mario Kart ride, which was very disappointing. Come at me, but that ride sucks.
I don't think that's an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
I haven't been on it. I want to like it so much.
I did too. And like the line is legitimately great. Like the line was better than the ride. That's the only time I think I've ever said it in my life. But the line was so cool. And then you get on the ride, it's just like this slow moving dark ride where you're like tilting your head. That's not the ride we're talking about today. But I digress.
Yeah, screens they're best used in small doses.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think that's something that Disney does really well.
Mm-hmm.
They've added screens to Indiana Jones on like Mara's face, or like behind the door when Indiana Jones is trying to hold the door shut. And I think that works really well. But when you're just sitting in a chair looking at a screen and the chair moves, like that's such old technology, and it's just not that thrilling.
Exactly. And I think that this is the right amount of screen ride to use. And I think if this ride had been built in 2018, like just from scratch, it would have been like 90% screens. But because they are adapting something that that is already there, they put in a little bit of screen stuff. Like you said, it's kind of similar to like Indiana Jones or like a Rise of the Resistance, which uses screens, but it also uses a lot of cool practical stuff and other new technologies. So I'm glad that they were like, okay, here's a plus up, here's a refurbishment. We're putting the screens at this point, but it's not going to dominate the ride.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because when I was looking through ride videos, I saw one, and I don't remember if it was, I want to say it was somewhere in China, and it was like their version of the Jurassic Park ride, and it's like all screens.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's all like that kind of 3D, which, they do the 3D pretty well, which not having to, I see you wear glasses too. Not having to put 3D glasses over your glasses is always nice.
Yes, it's always appreciated.
That's always a headache, literally and metaphorically. But yeah, so like this one, and it was funny because I was watching it, I was going, I don't remember any of this.
You're like, what is going on here? That's really funny.
Like, did they renovate it again? But yeah, this one is a good mix of animatronics and screens, and the screens are done sparingly enough that it does work well enough.
I would agree with that. It's the exact right amount. It's just like the way the original Jurassic Park was. The original Jurassic Park was revolutionary for being the first film to really use CG this extensively. But there's not, if you go back and look at it, there's not that much CG. They use a lot of animatronics too. They use each one when it's appropriate, and I think it's the same thing with the ride.
Yeah, I agree. And the animatronics they have, the ones that they kept still look pretty good. I'm sure they gave them a new skin or something, but the new ones I think look really cool, and they're really smooth, which is always impressive to me. I love a good animatronic that looks smooth and doesn't have that, that robot movement.
Kind of jerky. Because you said there's I think it's supposed to be blue, like the raptor from Jurassic World, like Chris Pratt's like best friend raptor.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. He starts like yapping at the Indominus because like in the movie he kind of like talks at him or whatever. So I think that's kind of like the ending. You're like, because I love raptors. Raptors are my favorite, so it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a cool ride. It's a fun ride, and apparently it's the only the only water ride at Universal, which I didn't realize. But you're gonna get wet. They'll make sure of that.
Yes,
so.
It's a good ride to ride early in the day when it's hot and you need to cool down.
Yeah.
And you can walk around a little bit and then go walk back up to Harry Potter and go on the Griffin roller coaster that'll dry you off or whatever.
And that's a screen ride too, isn't it?
There's two
the
Harry
other
Potter.
One is.
There's one that's like a robot arm screen ride that's kind of weird, but then there's like the roller coaster, which is the only other thing I rode that was a real ride at Universal than the Horror Night when I went, because the regular Harry Potter ride was closed, and I just wanted to go to Hogwarts because I'd never been there before, and it was before J.K. Rowling had lost her mind, so I was excited to check it out.
Yeah, I have not been there, so I need to make my way down to Universal like during the actual season event, and not just for Horror Nights.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely because like I'm a Southern California native myself, grew up going to the parks, and it's really great. But it's definitely like the one I go to the third or even maybe fourth most behind Disneyland, obviously. And then I'm a big Knott's defender. I love Knott's, and then because those are both right next to me. Like they're like 10 minutes away from me. But I will probably even go to Six Flags, down in Valencia more often than I'll go to Universal. But Universal is definitely, in terms of quality, I'd say number 2, but in my heart, it's probably number 4.
Well, the heart wants what the heart wants, right?
Yeah.
All right, before we go, do you want to plug your stuff?
Yeah, definitely go and check out Underrated Movie Podcast. However you're listening to this in podcast, or on all the different apps, Spotify, Apple. Just look up Underrated Movie Podcast, and it should come up. Underratedmoviepodcast.com also has links to all of that. I just did an episode recently. I'm not sure when this is coming out, but the most recent episode as of recording I talked about A Bug's Life, and this might be interesting to some of your visitors or your listeners because I talked about A Bug's Land a bunch on that episode. So that was a lot of fun.
And the Bug's Life show in Disney World just closed.
Yeah, it's tough to be a bug. Rest in peace.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
If you want to do this again, we can talk some knots.
Oh, absolutely. I would be so down to talk some knots.
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Your attention, please. This episode of Wild Mouse has concluded. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and follow us on social media at Wild Mouse Podcast. Don't forget to visit the gift shop at wildmousepodcast.com. For exclusive bonus content, become a premium pass holder at patreon.com/wildmousepodcast. We hope you enjoyed your time and will visit us again soon. Thank you and good night.